Hey, I'm Adam with Aerial Motion Photography, and in this video, I'm going to talk about my DJI Mavic Mini that flew away and how lucky I was to get this thing back. In this video, I want to go over how to use the Find My Drone app feature. I want to talk about what was going through my head when I realized there's no way that drone was going to come back and where I decided to land it, and also why it's just important to listen to warnings. On your screen when you're about to take off, if it's too windy, it says winds are too strong, caution, don't take off, not safe. Not in those exact words, but basically they're saying don't take off. And if you don't want to listen to those warnings, if you have a friend next to you and they say, why are you trying to fly your drone, it's way too windy, maybe you should listen to them as well. But I was really excited to get footage, get pictures, and I kind of just threw those worries out of my mind. It was cold in the 30s, I would say. It wasn't snowing when I took off, but it was snowing later that day. And it was so cold that I did a launch just out the window of the U-Haul. And then I rolled up the window real quick and literally rolled it up because it doesn't have power windows. So I flew it and everything felt good, but I was keeping it around like 50, 100 feet. But to get to where I was going, it was actually straight downwind. And that's kind of, I guess, rule number one. When you're flying in windy conditions, don't go directly downwind until you know that the wind is light enough or the drone is strong enough to actually come home. So that was mistake number one. I know better than that, but I thought that this Mavic Mini had the strength. I've been watching more and more videos about people. It's like Mavic Mini versus the wind, or even videos like my Mavic Mini flew away. And to me, it seems like more people are saying that the Mavic Mini is good for the wind and less say that it flew away. So that's besides the point, but let's get into it. Once I got to the mountain and the peak that I wanted to shoot, I was getting some really cool video, and mainly I was actually trying to get photos. Basically, I got the shots and I wanted to bring the drone back home, and that's when I realized it's so windy and it's going to be really, really tough to get this thing back. Even at full speed, going into the wind, the drone was either stationary or even going backwards at the same time. So that was kind of unnerving. It made me think, okay, what can I do to help bring this thing back? So what I tried to do is I tried to go on like zigzags like this, because I thought the wind would have less force because it wouldn't be coming straight onto the drone. So you can see in this screen video recording that I tried to do a lot of zigzags, thinking that would help. It seemed like it was kind of making a little headway, but realistically it was over a mile and some change away, so I had a lot of ground to keep up with. And then I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I just need to find a safe place to land this thing. And I'm scanning the ground, looking up, looking down, spinning around the drone. As I was searching for places to land, I realized how much battery I was using just to keep the drone in one spot, and it really drained it really quickly. And then that's what made me think, okay, I need to just find a backup plan and find a good place to land it. And I can't find anything that I think will be an easy spot to find and to locate the drone. I just see houses and trailers, and a lot of people have a lot of land. And I didn't want to land on their property because in those kind of states like Texas and New Mexico, I think they can just shoot you for even walking on their property. So I didn't want to die just to get my Mavic Mini. And then I thought, okay, there's this train track, and basically if I follow the train track, I'll be able to find the drone. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't know how far this train track is away. So I try to find another landmark, and then I find this bridge, and I'm like, perfect, that's a good landmark. Let me try to land my drone right there. I'll find my way to the train track, walk, and go get it. And it'll just kind of be a quick scare. Throughout that flight, I had really good signal, but a couple times the screen went black. But that happens a little bit, and it always came back up. And as soon as I'm bringing the drone down to land it by the bridge, it actually loses signal. The drone landed with only 3% battery left, and that's something that I did not want to happen. I wanted to have as much battery as I could so that when I use the Find My Drone, you can use the feature to beep or to light up. And I knew that that would be pretty important to try to find this. So it landed, it shows the point where it landed, and then just automatically comes up, Find My Drone. And this is just as easy as Find My iPhone, and you literally just push directions, go. When I was driving by these dirt roads and stuff, there's a man that came up in his truck asking what we were doing, and I showed him what it was. And I don't know what he thought we were doing, maybe breaking in. And he's like, you know what, you should not walk this way. My sister has these crazy dogs, and then the guys next to here have lots of guns. And basically, if you walk through here, you have a pretty good chance of getting shot. So he gave us advice to go all the way down this dirt road to this railroad track. And because I showed him on my screen, I was like, do you know where this bridge is along the railroad track? And he really didn't care. He didn't help us. He just basically said, go away. It showed me where it landed, but there weren't any roads to actually get there. So it was a little tricky, but I just knew, as I keep saying, it's on the railroad track by the bridge. If I just find that and walk, it should be right there. So I do the walk, and it was like 0.8 of a mile. But I'm thinking, okay, that's not that big of a deal. But the wind is blowing at my back and it's freezing. So I have everything hooded up, and I finally get there to look for it. And I think it's going to be on the right side because that's where I thought I was landing. I thought it was going to be super easy to find. It would just be like laying perfectly right there. I get there, I can't find the drone. There's tons of rocks that look really similar to this color. Some are tan, some are a little darker, but a lot of them were this size. When I was first searching, I didn't think it was going to be too hard to find, so I was kind of just walking to where I thought it was going to land. And then when I couldn't find it, I started to get more and more anxiety. So I went into this like search and recovery mode, and I did the grid, like where you walk perfectly in one line, a little bit back. Once you do that, then the side, and it basically you cover all the ground. So I did that, and still no drone in sight. I looked so hard that I actually told myself, okay, if the drone landed there and that's where it was, I should have found it. So basically, I thought to myself I was out of luck, and I just lost my favorite new little drone, the Mavic Mini. And I was kind of sad, but what can you do when it's your fault for trying to fly it in those conditions? So it's more just a bummer to me. So I walked back to the U-Haul, the 0.8 of the miles, and my friend's sitting there, and she's like, did you find the drone? And I'm just like, no, I didn't find it. And we started talking a little bit, and then she's like, all right, I'm going to go with you, and then we're going to go find that drone. So she comes with me, we walk down there, and we're just looking everywhere. We think, oh, maybe it got blown into these trees off to the side, or something else. So we keep looking more and more downwind, thinking that when it lost signal, maybe it tried to do its return to home, ran out of battery, flew, and landed somewhat nearby. And we looked so hard, every bush, every rock, anything that looked like this drone, picked it up, and just, we didn't leave any stones unturned. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And finally, after a while, we just said, you know what, this drone's not here, it must have flown away. We both are walking back, and as I'm walking back, I'm still scanning side to side. And then I see the drone crashed into the trees, like off to the side. Not the top of the trees, like the trunk of the tree, which is awesome because I don't have to do anything like climbing or anything like that. But if your drone does get stuck in a tree, click on this video above and it will show you how to build the drone retrieval unit, which is basically a slingshot rocket tied to a string, and you shoot it at the drone and you hope to pull it through, shake the branches. This was so easy to find, and when I said I found it, she wasn't sure if I was joking or not, but I found it. And I was so happy because that's almost like finding a $400 bill on the ground. Like sometimes I get excited if I find a $1 bill on the ground or like a $5, but finding this was like a $400 bill on the ground. So I was really, really happy. Since we were on the road and spent so much time driving, I didn't transfer anything from the SD card to the computer. So basically I had the whole trip on this SD card, and if the drone was gone, basically we would have no photos. Not basically, really we would not have any photos. So that was the big thing, and I think that's why my friend wanted to find the drone even more, because that was one question she asked. She's like, do you know, did you upload those photos that we got from New Mexico and from Arizona? And I was like, no. And that's kind of the point where she's like, all right, let's go get it. Since I wasn't loading the SD card to my computer, what I was doing was I was using the Fly app, and I was texting them to myself at least a couple of the best photos, and then I was also uploading those directly to Instagram. And if you haven't checked out my Instagram, it's at Aerial Motion Photography. I post a lot more photos than I do videos, and if you want to check out some cool shots, I'd recommend going there, giving us a follow, and just checking out the whole camera reel and all our archive of shots. And that wraps up the video on how my DJI Mavic flew away and how I was so lucky to get this thing back. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. That means a lot to me. Subscribe down below and then check those notifications so you'll be notified when I upload more videos like these. As always, my name's Adam. Fly safe, take care, peace.